Hey there, it is Dusty Thunder with the best of Predator update story for you. Mini updates, long story. Buckle up. Title of this is I'm completely lost because I just found out that my 42 male wife, 36 female of 12 years has been having an affair from the police who called me in for questioning involving the assault of her lover. Original post, part 1. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't know if this is the right sub or even if I should be posting, but I don't have a clear mind right now and I'm here to ask for some direction. I've been married to my wife for 12 years. We have an amazing 11-year-old son. Until last night, I thought we had a good marriage. I thought I was always really good to her. We have no money problems, no intimacy problems, and I have never taken her for granted. I honestly wake up every morning and thank God that she is my wife. Now, I don't know what to think. I got a call from my local PD as I was getting off work yesterday. They asked if I could come to the police station as soon as possible. I panicked. I asked if something had happened to my wife or son, but they said not to worry, just to get to the station ASAP. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just get here really fast. When I got there, they put me in a room with a table and some chairs. They asked me my name, which I gave. Then they started asking all these questions about a guy my wife works with. I haven't seen or spoken to this guy literally since December 2019 at my wife's company Christmas party. The two officers kept asking me things like, how long have you known? And how did you find out? The only answer I could give was, what are you talking about? After about an hour of this, I just stopped answering their questions and kept asking where my son and wife were and were they safe. We just kept going around and round and round until after about 2 hours on and off because they would periodically leave the room for 15 to 20 minutes, then come back and start it all over again like some cheap cop show. The last time they came in, the cop handed me a tablet and showed me a video of my wife and the guy from her work having sex. I don't remember much right after that. I just remember screaming, what the f*** is this, over and over again. I had a full-blown panic attack right there in the middle of the police station. The police had a paramedic check me out and he said my blood pressure was something like 170 over 110. He wanted me to go to the hospital, but I refused and I said I needed to find my wife and son. After I calmed down, the officers explained that the guy in the video had been having an affair with my wife and apparently several other women. He had been found that morning in his driveway beaten, sexually assaulted, and set on fire. He was still alive, but in critical condition, and they didn't know if he would make it. His wife had given them permission to go through his phone and computer, and that's where they found the video of my wife. They asked me where I was that morning, and I told them the gym, then work about 10 minutes from my gym. At that point, they said I could go, but then I might not want to stay at my house because they didn't know if his affair with my wife could be why he was attacked. They also said my wife wasn't the only person he was having an affair with. That's when I rushed home. My son was staying with our neighbors, so I got him and went home. We packed some clothes and his laptop for school. I grabbed my pew-pew and we headed to my parents 45 minutes away. I still haven't heard from my wife. Her phone is going straight to voicemail. I called the officer who gave me his card and he said she is at the hospital with the guy she's been cheating with. I'm sitting here in bed with my son on one side of me and my pew-pew on the other. My dad is sleeping in his chair in the living room with another pew-pew across his lap, and I'm not slept in over 30 hours. I don't even know where to start. Anything would be helpful right now. Any advice or ideas? I am in a fog. That's part 1. Part 1 thoughts, Tater Rooney? Can you imagine? Just like,
yeah, I feel like he's in a state of shock and just terrified at this point. Like, I mean, finding out, that's a way to find out that your spouse is cheating on you.
And
that's
wifey
a wild
did
way.
Wifey dropped their son at the neighbor's house so she could go to the hospital with Rent-A-Dick guy.
Yeah, basically. That's what he's been told thus far. But I read this story like I was on the edge of my seat for this guy. And I think the story's about 5 years old. So I think it was.
That's wild.
Yeah.
This is wild. Also,
Rich.
I'm having to be very careful and like edit while I read.
Yeah, I missed a few triggers in there.
To make
so
sure
sorry
that
about
I don't
There shouldn't be any more.
Okay. All right, part 2. Here we go. I attempted to post this on Saturday, 12/19, but it didn't go through. And I got blocked from reposting because I asked a yes/no question anyway. Here it is again. I'm working a bit, so I may not be able to reply that much right now. My original post was removed, but a lot of people messaged me and asked for an update. I thought I would fill everyone in on what happened because the replies I got helped me so much. I really feel like I owe this community a big thank you for helping me get my head on straight and pointing me in the right direction to get everything done as fast as possible. For those people who said my post was fake, my only reply is I wish from the bottom of my heart that it was. Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. For those who said they couldn't find a news story, apparently due to the nature of the attack, a lot of information was withheld. Even our local news outlets only reported it was an assault, and it was nothing more than a blurb on our nightly news. For those who implied or directly stated the police wouldn't do that, you are 100% wrong, because they did. I found out from my lawyer that police can literally do or say anything they want, especially if you aren't under arrest, short of direct threats of harm. That includes lying directly to your face, which they did. Turns out that my wife wasn't at the hospital with her lover when I contacted the detective. She had been admitted to the hospital's psychiatric facility much earlier that day, while he was still in surgery. I don't know why they would lie about that, but they did. Needless to say, this situation has caused me to become very suspicious of law enforcement. After I woke up that afternoon, I contacted my uncle's law partner, who is a family friend. He actually came to my parents' house and sat down with me to go over my options. His entire law firm is now representing me, both in the divorce and the criminal defense. That day, Sunday, he got me an emergency custody order and a protective order against my wife for me, my son, and my parents. Our court date is in 60 days. The police served her on Monday as she was leaving the psych hospital. According to her brother, who is a close personal friend of mine, she did not take it well. I can't imagine leaving the psych hospital after this has happened to her AP and then get served the papers. Yes, I mean, which she should, but yeah, I'm guessing she didn't take it well. She is staying with her parents for the time being. I still haven't talked to her, and she hasn't made any attempt to speak to me either. Whether that's due to shame, indifference, or the order of protection, I don't know, but I'm glad of it all the same. My wife is not the person I thought she was, and I'm ashamed of myself for not seeing it sooner. I had to tell my son something, so I decided to tell him the truth, age appropriate, and literally the first words out of his mouth was, "Please don't let mommy take me away." Damn. I asked him why he would say that, and from what he told me, my wife has been treating him very badly when I wasn't around, and told him if he told me, she would take him away and my son would never see me again. She has been emotionally torturing our son, and I was too blind to see it. That wrecked me more than the video, to be honest. I told the lawyer about what my son said, and he used my son's statement and her mental state and commitment to get the emergency custody. I have contacted his school for therapy resources, and he will start therapy after the first of the year. I feel like the worst father to ever walk the face of the earth at this point. As for the families, her parents contacted me Tuesday and asked to come see us. I was still with my parents at the time, and I told them they could come, but she was not allowed anywhere near us. They agreed. They were so apologetic, and her poor mother didn't stop crying the entire time she was with us. Her father was heartbroken and kept referring to my wife as that girl. They both said they felt like something was going on with her, and they did not raise her to be this way. We hugged and cried before they left, and I told them they will always be a part of our lives no matter what happens with the divorce. After what my son told me, their visit was the hardest part of our whole ordeal. My lawyers have been doing amazing work so far. They found out that the man my wife was sleeping with has a long criminal record. One of the lawyers informed me that when they went to print out the guy's arrest record, the printer ran for 5 minutes straight. From what they could learn, he is currently on parole for drug offenses and has gang affiliations in the past. He is still alive but in critical condition and still may not make it. The firm has an investigator who contacted the coworker who drove my wife to the hospital. The coworker informed them that my wife's affair was an open secret around the office. My lawyers think that's how the police figured out who I was and who my wife was in the video. There are several photos of last year's Christmas party at her work, and my wife and I are in several of them. That's where I'm currently at with this whole situation. I am just numb, still lost, and heartbroken. How long does the numbness last? And is there any way to get past this emotional lethargy faster? I mean, really numb, like a dream. Everything I've just said has felt like it's happening to someone else. Thinking of update part 2. What do you guys thinking so far? This is wild.
They're probably thinking we should read part 3. This is one of the most wild stories that I've ever. This is one of the most wild stories that I've literally ever read.
Tater Thunder's like, no breaks for you. Read. No. You read the story or you don't come home.
No, I think it's not a shocker that this guy is like a up individual.
Update part 3. Sorry for the novel, but I just needed to vent and get this week off my chest. The TLDR found out wife was cheating from cops, questioning me about the assault of the guy she was cheating with. Divorcing, now she claims she has a substance abuse problem and asks for another chance. I feel like an idiot for not seeing it when we were together. I will start off again by saying thank you to everyone who replied to both my original post and my update. The sub really did help me so much. If I didn't respond to you directly, I'm sorry, but I got so many messages I can't keep up with them all. First, my son is doing much better. He started therapy the first week of January, and the difference is already noticeable. I asked him if he is comfortable with me talking to his therapist, and he said yes, so I've had a few discussions with her. According to the therapist, my soon-to-be ex would verbally and emotionally abuse our son whenever they were alone together. He was not allowed to make noise or bother her in any way when he was home. She would leave him alone for hours on end, and even overnight if I was out of town. She would then threaten him with being taken away and never seeing me again if he told me or anyone else. The therapist said this has made him feel powerless and dependent on a time in his development that should actually be feeling empowered and self-reliant. So to that end, I have bought him his own phone and helped him memorize family members' phone numbers and as many addresses as are relevant. I've also been teaching him situational awareness, to pay attention to street names and how to read addresses on buildings. We've also role-played how to ask people for help, how he can clearly explain to strangers that he's in trouble and he doesn't feel safe. I know this may sound silly, but my son can be a bit introverted and shy when he doesn't feel comfortable. Even though we've only been doing this for a few weeks, I can see that it's really building his confidence. Any suggestions on how to continue to build his self-reliance would be really helpful. His safety and well-being is still my number one concern right now. As for myself, I'm doing about as good as can be expected. I started therapy around the same time as my son, and although I don't speak to my therapist as much as he does, it has helped to be able to talk through my thoughts and feelings about everything that has happened to us and our family. The numbness is gone, but it was replaced by a white-hot ball of anger in the pit of my stomach whenever I think of how my soon-to-be ex and what she's put our family through. Funny enough, although I hate feeling angry, it's a lot easier to deal with than the numbness. My therapist says this is a part of the grieving process, and it's not how we feel, but how we channel those emotions that matter. My legal situation, well, I'll be honest, is the scariest thing I've ever dealt with in my life. I was awarded temporary full custody and child support, which I didn't want, but my lawyer pretty much demanded we ask for it, as well as a continuation on the order of protection for myself and my son. At the request for an order hearing, which neither my wife nor her lawyer showed up to, the judge asked if we would allow supervised visitation, but my son absolutely refused, which is why my lawyer told me to bring him along. The judge asked my son if he would speak to him alone, and he agreed. The judge, stenographer, and a child welfare officer went to chambers with my son and met for about 10 minutes. After their meeting, the judge granted the temp orders and ordered therapy and psychological evaluation for my son. Luckily, the therapist he is seeing is somehow involved with or accredited to work with the courts, so he doesn't have to see another therapist. My lawyer said this is a good thing because it means his therapist can give a recommendation for custody, but it still scares the hell out of me that she could get some form of custody after what she put him through. As for the AP, I don't know much. From what my lawyers have gathered, he's still alive but in the hospital. I haven't heard from the police since my initial interview, so nothing new to report there. As for my soon-to-be ex, I still hadn't seen her since the day I was questioned until Thursday. She has attempted to call me a few times, but I haven't answered, and when she called from another number, I hung up immediately. I have nothing to say to her, and I don't want to hear anything she has to say to me. Her lawyer requested a preliminary hearing for our court-appointed mediation. She was served the second week of January. She was there with her lawyer, and I know this will sound petty, but even with the mask, she looked bad. My soon-to-be ex was always an attractive and athletic woman. I swear in our wedding photos, she looks like a supermodel, but now, well, she's lost so much weight, it's disturbing. She looked sick and frail. She didn't even look at me. She just sat there with her face down through most of the meeting. Long story short, everything they asked for was ridiculous. They wanted visitation during the divorce proceedings and shared custody after. They wanted us to drop the OPs. She wants to cohabitate until the divorce is finalized. I'm not joking. After all this, she wants to live in the same house. It was so insulting that my head throbbed the whole meeting. But it was all worth it for that big reveal we gave to her lawyer. Her lawyer asked how we should handle discovery for the division of assets, to which my lawyer got this shocked look on his face and said, "What division of assets? Read the prenup." The look on her lawyer's face was priceless. She hadn't told her lawyer about the prenup. My late uncle, who was the founding partner of the law firm I use, wrote that prenup and actually hired her a lawyer to look it over before we got married. According to my lawyer, it's a thing of beauty because we never mixed finances, per my uncle's instructions. The house we live in was a gift to me from my uncle before we married. All the utilities and insurances are in my name. All the vehicles are registered in the owner's name only, and we never had to sign for any debt for each other. We have one shared savings account that is used for household maintenance and an emergency fund. It has around $8,000 in it, which she has already drained. There's less than $300 in it now. The prenup states that all marital assets and debt are to be divided 50-50, and ownership of all intangible assets and personal debts reverts back to the individual who accrued it. The adultery clause simply states that we agreed that if either party is caught or admits to committing adultery, they lose the right to claim any form of spousal support. There's a lot more to it than this, but my lawyer assures me that trying to break this prenup will be damn near impossible because it is the most fair prenup he's ever read. But the last thing her lawyer asked for was what has really messed with. He asked that we postpone the official mediation for 6 months while my soon-to-be ex attends an inpatient rehab facility for substance abuse. Some people in both my last posts stated that she might have a substance abuse issue, but I didn't even think about it because I couldn't even fathom it. I talked to my lawyer and he said that we would discuss it and get back to them about our decision on that. Before we left, my soon-to-be ex spoke literally for the first time and asked me to read a letter she had written to me. My lawyer gave me the "this could be a snake, so be careful" look, and I debated with myself for a moment but decided to take it. When I got home, I read it and now I wish I hadn't. It started off with all those busted cheater platitudes that everyone warned me about. I love you. I love our family. I know I mistreated our son and I hate myself for it. I want us again. But she did explain that after a major surgery she had about 2 years ago, she started abusing her medication. After a while, she started buying them from some of the other people she worked with, including AP. He became her go-to guy, and when she ran out of money, she started sleeping with him to make up for the difference. She said she hid this from me because she was afraid I would make her stop, and she couldn't feel right without them anymore. That he meant nothing to her but a fix, and she hates herself for doing what she's done, both to herself and to us. Now she says she understands how awful what she's done is and wants to get better for our family, and asked me to at least give her some time to prove she wants this. Let me state for the record, I will never get back with my wife. Our marriage was over the moment she cheated on me and abused our son, but damn, where the F was I while all of this was going on? I just feel like the most naive, obtuse idiot that ever walked the earth. And furthermore, how should I approach this from here? Am I just throwing her away, or am I still justified in feeling betrayed? I feel like such a failure as a husband and a father right now. I mean, I feel nothing for her other than anger and resentment, but is this how you treat somebody fighting the demons she's fighting? I'm just lost and feel so hopeless again. Anyway, any advice would be much appreciated here. I survived the story, ladies and gentlemen. I survived it. Okay, you take over now. I'm leaving.
You did it. You read it beautifully. So that was literally like 10 pages of reading. So bravo to you. I feel like it's a f***ed up situation, but at the end of the day, his wife chose to put her need for those drugs over her family. And so I think he's right in saying, I will never get back together with her again. And I think it would be up to the courts to decide what kind of if ever, like supervised visitation. But I think she's a long way from having any form of custody over her child if that ever happens without being supervised because of the damage that she did to her child. Like she chose pills, which I'm assuming is what she was doing, over her baby. Like that's a f***ed up situation.
Yeah.
And that's a low. Like she got into some shit and she f***ed up beyond belief, and she's going to take her a long time to rebuild her life. And it will never look the same.
Yeah, agreed. It will never look the same. And here's the difference between like OP and she were a pairing of choice, right? OP has the choice to no longer be associated with her, right? And that bridge is burned, forever, gone, no rebuilding, nothing. If she ever wants to be any kind of mother figure to her son, she has a long road of rebuilding trust and earning that back ahead of her. It's possible that she could rebuild that. I mean, she fucked up real bad. Like like addiction can make you do crazy things, right? And the moment she cashed in her family by putting him in a precarious situation the first time, not to mention the 800th time when she's actually being abusive towards him, like it's going to be a long shot for her to actually do the work to ever be trusted enough to be a mother figure of any capacity to him. But like that's all that's possible. There's no rebuilding a relationship with OP. There's no like staying in the same house. No, like you ultimately broke trust in every way possible.
That's the part that bothers me, is she's saying all of this was because I got addicted to things after surgery.
So it's not my fault.
Yeah, like she's not, and I understand like explaining yourself, but she wanted all of these things. She wanted OP in the same house. She wanted her son back in her life. Honey, you don't deserve that.
No.
Like you don't get that. Like you f***ed up so badly that those are not options, but you come to the table thinking that those are options. Like you present those as options. I don't know what kind of delusional land you're living in, but you abused your child. You abused your baby because you were doing drugs. And you can't just come back from that a few months later and pretend like you want to play house again. That is not how the world works, and that is not how the court systems work. And that's some entitlement, and that's the part that I think makes me the most mad. Like the son abusing your child, cheating on your family, and then acting like you just get to walk back into it unscathed, like just because you had an issue. No, you are responsible for your actions, even though you found yourself in an addiction kind of situation. Like you don't get to just walk away from those just because you had issues.
Yeah. You can't blame your substance. You have to be accountable for your actions, even if the substance drove you to behave in ways that you wouldn't have typically behaved. You still performed those behaviors.
Right.
Yes, they influenced you. You chose them to influence you. And yeah, like addiction can make you do crazy, crazy things and behave in ways that you never would in a million years. You still own those actions, though.
Yep, that's
And
still
you.
you.
Still own the burden of rebuilding trust if it's even possible. That's on you. You don't get to just be like,
There's a reason you have to make amends for what the wrongs that you've done, and you've done none of that.
None.
So you don't even get to look at your son right now. You don't even get access to him in any way, shape, or form. And not to mention the fact that are you even 100% healed from what you've done? Like, could you be in the same room as your child? Could you have visitations with your child without causing more harm?
No,
and the answer is no. Like, you are not ready for that. You have proven multiple times that you don't get access to your son. Your privileges are gone because you fucked up and you are at rock bottom and you need to rebuild, but you don't get to do that while causing more harm to your child.
So the real question here is, when they were sitting in that room, was her goal really to just get access to funds so that she could continue abusing?
I don't know. I feel like,
And that's why she didn't mention the prenup.
yeah,
She's like, oh, we'll see if we can pull this one. And if we can, I get to keep using.
it's going to be a long road for her to come out of addiction. Like, you and I have seen what that does firsthand to people. And I think it is not an easy road to walk. And I feel like she hasn't had enough time to write anything with herself, not even to even think about what she's done to her family.
Agreed. And I think that's where the whole "it was the drugs, not me" mentality comes from. Well, like as you go through that healing process, right? There is accountability. So start that process. I think right at the beginning now, the best thing she could do is make this commitment to be like, hey, I'm going to dedicate the next 5 years of my life to making this right.
Yes, that's accountability.
And at the end of those 5 years, like, I hope you'll give me a chance. I hope I've earned that chance. Not I hope you'll give me. I hope I've earned that chance by that point. There's nothing else you could do. Right? That's it. Be willing to do that and then actually put in the work.